I've got with me over here Andrew Citores, the CEO of JustCollege, who are the leaders in student group travel. And when I met Andrew for the first time a week ago, my first reaction is one of surprise that a company as big and as successful and as accomplished as JustCollege had managed to stay completely off of our radar. But now in these next few minutes here, Andrew's going to share with you his deep and penetrating understanding of the college audience and his understanding of how and why students buy. So your takeaway will hopefully be how these ideas and principles, when applied to your own festivals, will help you to increase your ticket sales and capture a larger share of the college student market. So, hey Andrew, how's it going?
How you doing?
Pretty good. So tell me, how did you stumble on the opportunity that caused you to create this incredible company?
Yeah, actually, stumble's a pretty good word. We were actually running, my business partner and I were running a college marketplace about 5 years ago. We had a travel section in the marketplace, so basically brands, travel companies could connect with students, and we had a section basically saying, hey, if we don't have something that is of interest to you here, can you tell us what you are interested in? And that one button got more traffic on our website than anything else. All the apparel sales, all the food sales. So clearly we saw that there was a need in the market, that festival producers, and other travel companies clearly weren't meeting the need that college students, what college students were looking for. So my business partner and I decided, why don't we start producing them ourselves? If there's nobody that's doing it, let's give it a try. And so our first year we sold a couple $1 million in trips, and that's how the business started.
It's a big start. So
yeah.
Cutting to the chase here, how many students do you actually reach, and how do you connect with them?
Yeah, so we have, we've sold about 400,000 collegiate travel packages in the last 4 years. So our reach is pretty deep in the college community. We currently serve about 300 universities nationwide, and we have about 3,000 campus reps. Campus reps are probably our #1 sales channel. So we have representatives in all the fraternities, all the sororities, business schools, law schools, philanthropy groups, sports teams, any campus organization. That's our #1 sales channel, is selling through the organizations. We also help our campus reps by promoting via social media. So we do promoted ad campaigns, we do promoted posts, we support them via email, and we even do campaigns after a rep has sold something to a customer, reminding that customer to also get their friends to attend. So we've kind of mastered the psychology around how students buy, and they actually buy in groups. They don't buy in 1, 2, 3, or 4. They buy in 40, 50, 60, or 100. And so when you're looking at college students and how to target them, you have to think of it from a group mentality and not an individual buyer's mentality. And that's probably one of the biggest, things that I can stress is understanding that college students just, the reason they buy and how they buy is just totally different than any other demographic.
So how does JustCollege make it easy and affordable for students to buy packages to festivals that they wouldn't be otherwise able to attend?
Sure. So few things. One, we bundle everything together. One thing that we've noticed college students hate is having to go through many different steps to be able to purchase a travel package, or really to do anything. Millennials in general are so used to getting everything in just one click, right? They can go on social media, they can go on Google. I mean, they're used to having everything at their fingertips. So when you introduce a concept that says, well, you have to buy your festival ticket here, then you have to go over here to book your flight, then you go to this other website to book your hotel room, and then you got to go use Venmo or Tilt or whatever other tool to collect money from your friends. That is like a total lost concept to college students. They just don't want to deal with it. So one of the first things that we did is we made it really easy by allowing students to pay individually, split up their payments over a 12-month period. So when you're looking at a festival and you think, okay, well, I'm going to spend $400, students would much rather pay $35 a month than pay $400. They also don't want to risk putting up money for their friends. So we allow them to book individually, and even though they're splitting the cost of a room, they pay that all as an individual, and then our software pairs them up. And so I think that's one of the most important things to understand about college students is they just want a frictionless experience from beginning to end, really right at the beginning when the buying process starts all the way through their actual experience. They want everything programmed for them. They want it all done for them. And they basically, they want to press one button and be able to do everything. And that's probably the thing that helped us grow to our 400,000 customers so quickly is, any experience that we've created, whether it's partnering with a city like Cabo San Lucas or partnering with the LVCVA in Las Vegas and creating collegiate travel packages to those destinations, or doing a package for Life is Beautiful, let's say. The main thing that we focus on is how do we make it as easy for students to buy, and how do we increase that conversion and create that group buying mentality for the event.
That's great. So given your 3,000 on-campus reps, tell us about the importance of face-to-face selling when we live in a time when transactions are so easily facilitated by all the internet and social media channels.
Sure.
But you obviously really believe in face-to-face selling.
Yeah, I mean, if there are any festival producers here, any one of you can easily create a social media ad campaign, target your own customers, or do an email blast and create representatives to then go out and be evangelists for your festival. That's really easy. We have taken a kind of a crazy approach to campus rep recruitment. We think it's the most effective. It's definitely the most expensive, and it's definitely the most difficult. We actually travel every single year, actually anywhere from 2 to 4 times a year. We'll step foot on about 300 college campuses, and we go out and we recruit in person. When we do that, we see incredible engagement from our campus reps. There's a reason why our campus reps perform so well, and why we can add a new program into our offerings and immediately sell thousands of packages. Our reps have face-to-face interaction with our staff. They trust us. There's something really important, especially in the millennial demographic, with creating a genuine relationship and someone knowing that there's a real person on the other side of the table that they're talking to, and not just this ad campaign that I saw on social media. And by doing that, we've seen our reps perform at a rate that really doesn't match any other company. So something I would recommend if you have a festival and it's in a region where there are a lot of surrounding campuses, my recommendation is don't focus 100% on social media to recruit evangelists. Go out and put together a team and actually physically step foot and onto a college campus if that's a demographic you want to target. And really talk to students, find out what's important to them, and based on that, it'll become really easy to understand what they want and what would make it easier for them to attend your festival.
With your festival partners, what kind of gap is there between the perception of how many students they think attend their festival and the actual reality of how many do?
I've actually had this conversation with dozens of festival producers all around the country, and I asked them 2 questions when we start looking at creating a collegiate travel package for their festival. My first question I asked them is, does your festival have room to grow? If we were to bring an extra 5,000 college students, would that be good for you, or do you already sell out? And then if you already sell out, you don't really need another 5,000 attendees. Sorry, what was the question one more time? I just totally blanked.
That's okay. Perception versus
yeah.
reality.
Oh, yeah. And then the second question that I asked them is, what percentage of your attendees are collegiates? And so immediately I find out that the festival doesn't know because they don't know the answer. And so they go and look at their numbers and they're shocked. Every festival is shocked when they see that. And this has been, I think, 25 conversations I've had. I've only had one festival come back to me and name a number that was over 20% of their attendees, which actually blew my mind. And the more festivals I spoke to, it was this like just repeating record. And so, when we partner with those festivals, the first thing that we do is we start interacting with the audience that's relevant to that festival. I'll give you an example. Life is Beautiful, which you'd think, they must get college students coming out from California, Arizona. They were looking at their numbers and they were getting it was shocking that they were really getting no students coming out from California and Arizona. And so we created a package for them that essentially allowed students to get on a campus shuttle from their school, bring them out to downtown Las Vegas for the weekend. We put together a hotel package. They paid one price. They got a festival ticket, 3 nights in a hotel, and a shuttle pass. And in 3 months, I think we sold almost 2,000 packages for them. And those were all students from University of Arizona, ASU, USC, San Diego State, UCSB. And after recruiting reps for them and talking to students on campus, most students didn't know what Life is Beautiful was. And that was shocking for me. I live in Vegas. All of my friends go to this event every single year. It's packed, right? But they had a tremendous amount of room to grow, and we just did our second year with them. It was a huge success, and we're about to do another, actually trying to triple or quadruple our numbers for next year with them. And that's really helped the festival really understand that, hey, there's a ton of upside. Only having 10 or 20% 18 to 24-year-olds is probably the best news that you can have, because you have a lot of opportunity. It's it's hanging fruit, low-hanging fruit.
Cue it up. So it wasn't a matter of the tickets being too expensive for the students. It was a complete absence of marketing. They just didn't know.
Yeah, I think in that case it was definitely just students didn't know about the festival. I think the festival had happened 2 years at that point, and so I think that they still were, they were still learning how to attract the audience that they were looking for. Now, look at the numbers for Life is Beautiful this last year. I think they've doubled in size over a 2-year period. But there are a lot of festivals that we talk to that, the attendance of, and when we talk to college students on campus, it really just comes down to the ease of booking. There's no easy way for them to attend the festival. A lot of festivals also don't know that a lot of college students aren't allowed to bring their cars with them to the university. Freshman, sophomore year, a lot of universities ban you from bringing your car. So how do they get to a festival that's an hour away, much less 5 hours away? So we try to, break down those barriers. And that would be my recommendation, is really, if you're going to focus on getting college students to come to your events, find out why they're not attending, and solve that problem.
So how do you leverage your incredible assets like your proprietary database to sell more tickets for your festival partners?
So whenever we partner with a festival, there's a few things that we do. Obviously, we'll market via email blast to our existing database. All the 400,000 students that have booked with us previously, we market to them. We tell them to bring themselves plus bring their whole social group, right? Bring your whole fraternity, bring your whole soccer team or whatever organization you're a part of. The other thing that we leverage is we take our existing campus rep database, and we actually start going to all the universities that are around that campus and start recruiting reps for the festival specifically. So there might be a lot of organizations who maybe don't attend a Vegas trip with JustCollege, or a spring break trip to Cabo, or a ski trip, but that organization might be really interested in attending a festival together as an organization. And so we go out and we actually re-recruit reps on top of the reps that we already have. And usually for the festival, we'll try to double our rep count in that region within the first year. That's typically our goal, and it's extremely effective.
So my last question to you is, give me an example of one of your favorite success stories for a client of yours.
Yeah, I'll actually use one back from our when we were running our college marketplace before we really got into the travel business. There was a small little tour operator that was doing about $300,000 in sales. This was right at the transition of when we were turning into a travel company. We had maybe a couple hundred reps, nowhere near the 3,000 reps we have now. And sat down with the owner of the business. He had been running this tour business to Cabo San Lucas for 25 years. And we sat down and I said, hey, I've got this big rep network. I'd love to sell your products. There's I think that we could grow the Cabo business. And surprisingly, he said, well, you want to just buy the company from me, and named a price that I think was every single dollar in our bank account at that time. But we're 24 years old and stupid enough to buy it. So we bought the business. He was doing about $300,000 in sales, had no campus rep network, was doing no social media campaigns, obviously, to support those reps. And we grew that business from $300,000 to this last year we did $5.3 million to Cabo, and this year we're pacing to a little bit over 7.
One destination.
One destination, just really by embracing reps and traveling all over the country to recruit representatives, and just understanding why students, how students choose their destinations, how they choose to spend their money, and we expect that program to keep growing, and the market opportunity we think is in the tens of millions of dollars a year for that one.
That's great stuff. Any questions for Andrew? Do we have a mic over here? Or?
What's the incentive package for your student ambassadors?
Yeah, so really depends on, and this is something that we advise our festivals to, really embrace the whole group buying phenomenon that exists at college campuses. We recommend anywhere from a 1 in 10 comp ratio. So if a student is going out and selling tickets in a hotel package, if you get 10 friends, you get to go for free, and then we'll typically upgrade them along the way. So maybe at 20, they get upgraded to a VIP pass, and maybe at 30, they get to bring a friend for free. But we really, obviously also depends on your margin and everything else, but we'll see rep incentives anywhere from 10 to 25. But we never pay the students cash. We always do some sort of incentive, because the whole goal of this is really for them to get their whole group of friends to go, and we don't look at them as employees. We look at them as representatives from their university.
So I have a question for you. How do you deal with the actual universities and colleges themselves? Because there are a lot of restrictions in terms of going onto campus, who can go on campus, and then also there's a lot of liability issues as well. And so how do you deal with that?
Yeah, so I think there's 2 parts to that question. One is risk mitigation with traveling college students, right? And then also dealing with the university and making sure that they have your support in marketing the events. There's a few things that are really important. One, absolutely reach out to the universities, let them know that you're coming, let them know that you're going to have your representatives coming onto campus, and maybe putting posters up and delivering marketing materials to representatives. So that's really important. Most of our rep recruitment actually occurs off campus. So typically the way that we do it is we go into fraternity, sorority houses, or off-campus housing. That's where most of our reps are living. If you are recruiting on campus, one of the best ways to do it is get a booth at one of the beginning of the year. They have a campus fair. Great way to go out. And if you have no contacts, that's how we first started, when we had no contacts at all. We actually just went onto campus, got a booth, and that's how we started building our network. On the risk mitigation side, because there is so much liability, we've actually built an entire risk mitigation department within our company that focuses on how to get 100,000 plus college students traveling every single year without having issues with property damage or underage drinking, and all of these things that are really sensitive to the university. And so because of that, we've received support from pretty much every university that we've ever worked with. Once they see our risk mitigation policies, some of the things we do is we have a code of conduct. If you're sending 1,000 students to stay at a Hyatt, that might be concerning to Hyatt. So we've worked really closely with the corporate headquarters of all the major airlines, all the major hotel chains. Just to give you an example, MGM Resorts is one of our great partners. They have gaming on property. So you have people who are under 21 entering your property. If someone's caught drinking or gambling under 21, they could lose their whole gaming license. And so we custom built a risk mitigation program for them where all the students agreed to a code of conduct upon check-in. We had very strict rules as far as, if you're caught doing XYZ, this is the rule. This is, these will be the repercussions. And they saw their incident rates from that demographic drop significantly just by doing some of those things. In other destinations, like international destinations, we also add mandatory travel insurance policies, so students get $25,000 of medical coverage. We'll do a risk mitigation speech that's mandatory at the beginning of the trip, so they understand what the local laws are, and that's sometimes something that's shocking to college students when they go to Mexico and they realize, like, hey, the laws of physics still, exist here, and you can drink in public, but you can't be carrying a glass container, and some of those things that they just wouldn't know. And so we try to be extremely transparent and let them know, like, hey, you're in Mexico, but you can still get hurt. You can still go, end up in the hospital. You can still, end up in jail if you break these rules. And so those are some of the things that we do on the risk mitigation side that has really allowed us to, have better control of our travelers.
Is this a community of people, like once they go on a trip with you, they're connected to your company as well as each other? Or are you more like a travel agent where you had a great trip, you may never care about that travel agent again?
Yeah, so one of the things that is really different about our business than a lot of the traditional student tour operators is they have one destination. They sell that destination once a year, and their model is go in, price gouge college students, come up with, kind of like a bait and switch models has been what has happened for the last 30 years in the industry. So they sell one destination, that's it, because they know they're not going to get repeat customers. We offer 75 different destinations. So when I acquire a student as a freshman, and every year I have to acquire the new freshmen that are coming in, my goal is then to have them travel with us 10, 15, or 20 times while they're in college. So yes, absolutely, we try to create that community feeling. When students look at our packages, they really go on, they say, okay, well, freshman year I'm gonna go on a ski trip and go to this festival, and then sophomore year I'm gonna do something else, and they make those decisions as organizations. So we'll see an entire fraternity that one year has booked to go with us to Chicago, then the next year went to Nashville, then the next year went to Cabo, and we do create that community feeling. One of the ways that we do that with our reps is we have an orientation where all the reps on campus meet each other. It's something that's really powerful because then everybody else on campus is using the service, builds credibility, everybody can meet, they can come up with marketing strategies on how they're gonna get their entire fraternity or the whole business school to attend. And so yes, we definitely focus on the community aspect, and that's why we go after campus organizations. They're the most organized, they have a budget that is dedicated to trips and events. Does that answer your question?
Do they connect at all with each other?
So We definitely utilize social media so that our reps can communicate. We have a partnership with Tilt also that allows students, if they want to see anybody else that's attending, they can choose to use Tilt to collect payments, and then they can see everybody else that is attending. There is a sensitivity with sharing information about, you know, who's traveling where, and so it's really delicate, and we try to use as many third-party services for that as possible.
Russell?
Yeah, once you've established a viable business for 4 years, or 5, like myself, I took a victory lap. Sorry. You've got to be tempted to maintain the business dialogue, so you can't be happy with people leaving your ecosystem. So what about after that 4th year?
Sure. So that's a really good question. You know, we right now are at the 4-year period where we're seeing, now we've had 3 years of customers who have traveled with us. And so we have started the process, and we haven't announced this publicly, but we're in the process of launching an alumni travel service for, you know, if you want to do a 5-year reunion, we already have your entire organization in our database. We know everybody who graduated from the business school in 2014 from USC. So we can go out and retarget them and sell them other experiences. That's not something that we've launched yet, but we know that we have to hold on to that customer to really get the full lifetime value, you know, of all the money and resources we put in to acquire them.
Great questions, everybody. Thanks so much. Thanks to Stu and Lori for putting on a great conference, and thanks to Adam Krim for setting this up.
Yeah, thanks, everyone.